To the checkered flag, then it was Matt Botempi, Terrence Donovan, Victor Bartlett, and Gary Schenk rounded off your top 5. A great way to kick things off tonight. It's going to be the first points race here, and it's going to be at Daytona, and we're starting it off here. We're currently sitting in on the heat race number 1, and it's going to be a 10-lap shootout, as you mentioned.
And I'll tell you what, a couple of minutes before we grid up here, let's talk about who's in the race here tonight. Andrew Berger. Now, he was a season points winner, champion from last season, season 3, and also from season 1. So Andrew Berger is in heat 1 here tonight. Terrence Donovan, he finished 4th last season. And then Gary Schenk, should be starting 3rd. Gary Schenk finished 8th last season. In season 3. So season 4 kicking off with a bang here tonight. We got about 30 seconds or so, about a minute and 30 seconds before these guys grid. Now 7 drivers here tonight so far, or 8. I think there's 8 drivers signing in here. So the heat races, there are 4 heat races that are going on. They go on simultaneously, Evan. And tonight we're doing heat race number 1. From here we will graduate to the trophy dash, and then to the A main, or to the B main, and to the A main.
And that's right, there's not going to be any caution flags. You have to be on the top of your game every single lap. And it's going to be a long night here of short, quick dash racing, as you mentioned, with these heat races, 4 of them going on at the same time. So we only have 8 people in here, but those other 3 lobbies, nice and full drivers. It's all about position here, and all those drivers are eventually going to work themselves through. You mentioned we're going to go to the trophy dash, then you're going to get onto the B main, and then finally at the end of the night we're going to hit the A main, our first points race of the season to kick off season 4. And as you mentioned, Andrew Berger, who's in the race, 2-time champion of this series, season 1, and your defending season 3 champ.
Yeah, you know what, and this is corn dogs and Corona night, Friday night, so if you got nothing better to do, sit back, enjoy. You got some a night of fun racing coming your way here just shortly. We're about 15 seconds away from the practice session ending. We'll go right to the grid, so there is no qualifying session here tonight, guys. This is a heat race for the position in the A and B mains. And then also we've got, like I said, the trophy dash coming up here right after the heat race. We'll have about a 10-minute break in between as the guys work down on the track to get things ready. So we're just about ready to start heat race number 1 here momentarily as the practice session ends, and the guys will be gridding up.
And that's right, we're not wasting our time with qualifying. We're going to jump straight into the action. They just finished an hour's worth of practice, making sure they have their cars tuned in and ready to go on this 1.5-mile racetrack, the most famous track in NASCAR, and they're going to kick off their season. This is the SuperSpeedway Cup, so we're going to be alternating between Daytona and Talladega all season long, and this is where these drivers are strongest, their forte, and we're going to get things kicked off right now as we're about to leave pit road.
You bet, and let's take them down through the lineup here tonight, guys. Heat race number 1, SuperSpeedway Cup Series tonight at Daytona International Speedway. Andrew Berger in the number 24 machine on his outside. In 73 car, Terrence Donovan, Evan.
On row number 2, starting in the 3rd position, is going to be the number 29 of Hunter Bowles, and right next to him on his right-hand side, starting 4th, the number 40 of Matt Botempi.
And right behind them on the inside, starting in the 5th position, number 76, that's going to be Frank Busiella III. And on the outside of him, the 69 machine, 6th position goes to Dale Smalley.
And rounding off this small field in row number 4, starting in 7th position on the inside line, is going to be the 28 of Shane McEachin. And then right to his right side, starting 8th, dead last in the field, but not too far from the front, is going to be the number 72 of Ivan Garcia.
And you know what? They're all inside the top 10 right from the green flag. So I tell you what, any one of these guys has a shot at crossing that start-finish line first after 10 laps here tonight. So it's anybody's game here, Evan. Now, one of the things, of course, that's going to play a big part of this race is the draft. Who is your dancing partner? Who are these guys going to pick? And what's going to happen on that last lap? Do you stay with your dancing partner, or, hey, do you split it up and do the dance on your own?
And that's right, it's not a long race, so I don't think we're going to see much pack racing. They're going to be stuck together, but you definitely want that dancing partner, as you mentioned. And we saw the drivers working with who they'd prefer to work with, but heck, it's only a 10-lap shootout. You don't have much time to orchestrate where you want to be. You got to find the first car that's all by himself and go with it. And once you hit that white flag, you don't have a partner anymore. It's just you trying to get to the front, and it's going to be a great 10-lap dash as we're getting ready to go green, as we're about to work our way off of turn number 4 and get this race started.
2.5 miles around this track. Speeds approaching 200 miles an hour, if not better than 200 miles an hour for these guys. Start-finish line right there in the middle of the tri-oval. And I'll tell you what, it is going to start here just momentarily. Pace cars will make that hard left-hand turn down pit road, and we are set to go here. As the green flag comes out, the 24 car, Andrew Berger, taking him to the line. He's got a pretty good start, but I'll tell you what, this game ain't over yet, Cowboys. 2x2 all the way back to the back here as these guys build their speed. So give them about a lap and a half, Evan, and then we'll see what happens.
And definitely, you don't really want to get too good of a start. 24 got away, and now goes the 29 car. Hunter Bowles at the outside. He and the 76 of Frank Buccioli got hooked up right away. Now the 29 is going to get left on the high side. 76 trying to pull in line behind the 24, and here come the 20 and the 28. That is Matt Botempi and Shane McKeechin coming up on the inside. Now the 29 is going to drop back to the bumper of the 73, and we're going to work our way through turn 3. Now the 20 is going to hop up behind the 29 off turn 4.
You've got still 2x2 here. These guys jockey position. We got Dale Smalley up here, 6th position, 69 machine. He's pushing the 73 on top side here. But I'll tell you what, with 2 laps in the books here, 8 to go here at Daytona Speedway. It ain't over yet, Cowboy. But I'll tell you what, 2x2 up there on the top side, trying to make it work up here in the 29 machine, 5th position. Hunter Bowles, he's teamed up with the number 20 machine up here. That's going to be Matt Botempi. But I'll tell you what, they're about 5 or 6 car lengths off the leaders. Up here in the front, the 76 of Frank Buccioli and Andrew Berger. Andrew Berger, remember, season champ from season 1 to season 3. Berger knows his way around Daytona, so I tell you what, he's going to be a threat here, I'm sure.
And one car that is not in a position that he wants to be in right now, that's the number 28, Shane McKeechin. On the inside, he has no drafting partner, as he has just been passed by the 73 and 69, I do believe. Now the 72 is going to try to come up and pick him up, but because they had no drafting partners, they lost that lead group, and now we have a side-by-side battle up front. 24 Andrew Berger is still being pushed by the 76 of Frank Buccioli, the 3rd on the inside. 20 and the 29 look to the outside in the corner. They're going to think better of it. Pull back down in the bottom line as we cruise down the back straightaway, so we have a little bit of a 4-car breakaway, but here come the 73 and the 69, Terrence Donovan and Dale Smalley to the high side in 3.
Working the top side, 73, Terrence Donovan. He's got the lead up here in front of the 69 of Dale Smalley, but I'll tell you what, they got a long ways to go to get up to Andrew Berger up here, but they are huffing and puffing, trying to get there, coming through the trial. We'll head to the start-finish line. I tell you what, they got their work cut out for them. We got a 4-car draft down there on the bottom, Evan. These 2 guys, Dale Smalley up here on the top with Terrence Donovan, they got their work cut out for them for sure. Oh, we got to move to the outside. The 76 takes a position up in the front here. Buccioli moves out from Berger, and we've got a race happening here, Cowboy, on the backstretch.
And definitely, and if you're noticing this, all the 3 sets of tandems that we have are a Ford and Chevy combo. We don't have any manufacturers working together. They're all going against each other. We have 3 Fords and 3 Chevys all working with the other manufacturer now, and it's going to be the 20 car, Matt Botempi, leading this lap as the 24 and the 76 had the switch and turn run, and the 76 got a big shot from the 20. He had to pull up in front of the 24 to successfully make that switch, and now they're going to lead this lap as we hit lap 5 nearing the halfway point, as they're going to switch entering turn 1.
And I'll tell you what, Cowboy, you can't spend all your time behind one another here. You got to break out, get them engines cooled off, and I think that's what's happening here. Can't get stuck behind another car for 10 laps. That ain't going to happen. 5 laps in the books here, 5 to go here at Daytona International Speedway. The 29 and 20 up on the outside, trying to huff and puff and make something happen up there. There's a 24 machine down there on the bottom. Andrew Berger, who started on the pole here tonight, he's got to find his way back up to the front if he wants to take trophy home. They're slicing and dicing here through the trial, Cowboy, but I'll tell you what, it ain't over until it's over.
And definitely, you're going to want to time that switch so that you are going to be able to push your partner when it comes down to the end. And now we see the number 28, Shane McKeechin. He dropped back with that 72. If you remember, they had no drafting partners. They have slowly worked their way up to this field, but they have become separated. They're running right in between our 2 packs, but up front it's side by side, and the number 76 of Frank Buccioli, the 3rd, being pushed by the 24 of Andrew Berger, but prevailing on the outside, the 69, Dale Smalley, getting a huge shove from the 73 of Terrence Donovan, They have the advantage into turn number 3, but here comes the bottom line again, fighting back on off turn number 4.
And I'll tell you what, it's up to Terrence Donovan up here. Is he going to stick with Dale Smalley up here in the front and make that thing happen up here? It looks like it. They're going to cross the start-finish line first there. So I'll tell you what, Dale Smalley and Terrence Donovan, and their move now will be cut down on the inside there and puts a block on the guys behind them. However, they're sticking to that top side up here, going through turns 2, coming out on the backstretch. I'll tell you what, this thing's going to be a race right to this finish line here. Frank Bucella down here on the bottom, 3rd position, that number 76 machine. He's being pushed by the number 24, Andrew Berger. Andrew Berger's the one to watch here tonight, guys. I'll tell you what, slicing and dicing up here through turns 3 and 4, 73 and the 69 machine up on the high side, the 76 coming along on the bottom.
And we're starting to stack up in the back. The 29 and the 20 have become separated. They were the 3rd tandem in line. 20 slid up in front of the 28, caused a big checkup near the rear of the field as we worked our way off turn number 4. Now the 29 and the 20 are hooked back up. They're going to work into turn number 3. 73 is going to make a switch with the 69, his partner. That's going to put him 3 wide. Hold it still. 69 now comes back down behind the 73 of Terrence Donovan. They're going to lose that lead position now, and now it's going to be the 76, Frank Buccioli III, being pushed by Andrew Berger. But here come the 29 and the 20, right up on the bumper of that 24 as we work into turn number 3.
Coming to 2 to go here at Daytona. Let's take it all the way to the back 8th position. Ivan Garcia back here. I'll tell you what, no help for him in the 28 machine of Shane Machikin. Hoping I'm pronouncing that name right. They're about 6-7 car lengths behind the 4-car lead up here in the front. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be a dicey finish line up here, a finish up here. 69 machine, Dale Smalley up on the outside, working with Terrence Donovan, that number 73 machine. In the meantime, Andrew Berger still taking 2nd seat to that number 76 of Frank Bucciala. So I'll tell you what, Cowboy, working down the backstretch. 2 to go here at Daytona.
And if this race ends anything like the shootout, we saw the car that was 6th place off turn number 4 on the last lap get the victory. Nothing is guaranteed now. 73 and the 69 are side by side with the 76 and the 24. Into turn 20, gets loose on the bumper of the 29. 29 is going to pull back in behind his partner. That's Matt Botempi. A 6-car breakaway. Those other 2 cars have become separated. Shane McEachin. And we have a wreck up front.
20 car going around. Matt Botempi going around, guys, here on the 2nd to the last lap. No cautions here during the heat races, guys, so that's going to end Botempi's night, and the 72, Ivan Garcia, gets mixed up in it as well.
We saw the twitch by the 20 on the bumper of the 29, and he couldn't get that car settled, and the car gets real light as they enter the tri-oval, and now they're coming by. It's the last lap. They're going to work into turns 3 and 4. 73 with the advantage. He's being pushed by the number 69 of Dale Smalley. Now here come the 76 and the 24. It's going to be a 2-car drag race to the finish. 76 is going to have the advantage. That's Frank Buccioli. 24 trying to look for a way around. Here comes the 73 on the high side. He can't get it done, and it's going to be the 76 taking home the victory.
Frank Buccioli, the 3rd, takes home the trophy here from heat race number 1. Terrence Donovan with a solid 2nd place finish. Andrew Berger, he being scored in 3rd position, guys, for the finish here. Andrew Berger, your season champ from season 1 and 3. Certainly the car to watch here tonight, as he will advance into the A main here tonight for sure with the SuperSpeedway Cup Series. Dale Smalley, 4th place finish here tonight. Hunter Bowles coming home in 5th in that number 29 machine. The 28 of Shane Machikin. I'm going to have to check the last name on that. We'll just call it the 28 machine, finishing 6th. Botempi in 7th, and Ivan Garcia 8th position.
And the 76 almost got caught there as the person pushing him, the 24, Andrew Berger, was trying to look for a way around, and that almost let the 73 catch up on the high side, but that 76 managed to hang on and put his Ford down in victory lane.
And on the radio is Frank Buccioli. Frank, I'll tell you what, Cowboy, 10 laps here, Daytona International Speedway, 2.5 miles around this puppy. Tell us how you did it.
It was, I owe a lot to Andrew. We hooked up from the get-go, and I pushed for about 4 laps or so, and then he was behind me. He was breathing it, playing it real smart. That's why he's a 2-time champion of this league. So I owe a lot to him and the guys around me. It was clean racing.
Well, I'll tell you what, coming to these heat races, they're only 10 laps long. Kind of difficult to put a strategy together, with your crew chief. Did you have a plan when you came in tonight?
Well, I wanted to put the blue oval in victory lane sometime, so this is a good start, but no real plan. Just whoever I could hook up with, because it's impossible to do anything without a partner, and who better than to hook up with the champ?
There you go. I'll tell you what, hey, who made it happen for you, bud?
Well, Andrew, pushing me there a while. I got to thank him, and Marcus Lambert, my spotter, and on the car this season I have Moser Graphic Designs. Just go to Facebook, Moser Graphic Designs, does some cool stuff, but I'm looking forward to the Trophy Dash and the A-Main.
All right, Frank Bucciel on 76 machine coming home a winner here with heat race number 1. I'll tell you what, Evan, heat race over with, getting set for the Trophy Dash here. Why don't we step away, take a commercial break as we get set for the next event here. Hey, it's Corn Dogs and Corona Night here on ETV Live, the leader in sim broadcasting, so don't wander off, cowboy. We'll be right back.
Plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks. HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com. If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50 caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy. Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks. HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
And we are back live here at Daytona International Speedway, and we just watched heat race number 1. Frank Bucciella taking home the trophy from that one. Terrence Donovan with a clean second. Andrew Berger, who was the car to watch here tonight, with a solid third place finish here at during heat race number 1. Sitting in the booth with me again, Evan Pasoko, Clint Monahan. Clint, let's hear from you, cowboy. I know this is your first time out with ETV Live. Welcome to the crew. What do you think so far?
Well, I think we're going to be in for a really, really great race tonight. I'm keeping my eyes on a few people like Brandon Chiburko, also known as Chubb Hart, and of course our past champion from last year. But I'm so glad to join you guys. Thank you again for having me.
You bet, Brandon Chiburko. That's another car to watch. I remember him from a couple of seasons ago. Even last season, he finished 6 points behind Andrew Berger. So absolutely, Brandon Chiburko is certainly a car to keep an eye on here tonight. So is Dale Smalley. I've seen Dale Smalley race a few times before. He's from Carolina. Don't know whether it's north or south, but does it really make a difference? He'll be in that 69 machine here tonight during the trophy dash. 12 laps here, Evan. I'll tell you what, something similar to the heat races, a short one. So hope you got your coolers filled and your corn dogs warmed up.
And we definitely have a stacked field also for this race. You just have about over 5 minutes left in practice. Everyone can make sure that they're going to get a little bit more practice with their partner. And we're going to have Andrew Berger in here. We just saw him finish third. Your defending points champion and two-time points champion. And then we also have Brandon Chiburko, you guys mentioned. Another name to keep an eye on. Frank Bucciella is in here. He just won the race that we just checked out. And another car to pay attention to in this race is the number 3, Donnie Garitano. He won the shootout last weekend here at Daytona. And so definitely a strong field and 12 laps, no caution, so you got to be smart, but you can't lose that lead draft. And we saw that bite 2 drivers before this, so that's definitely going to be key here.
You know, it's a big track. Daytona International Speedway, we've been here a million times before, 2.5 miles around, 31-degree banking in the turns, and it is absolutely steep. And let's talk about this swapping back and forth. 12-lap race, 2 laps more than the heat race that we just completed here, Evan. And let's talk about the draft here in a minute. You can spend a lot of time behind one another here at Daytona, but you can't spend too much time. Talk about the swap and why we need to do.
And definitely, that's because these cars have an opening on the front to get air to that engine, and the drivers can put grill tape on. The more grill tape, the more aerodynamics, but the hotter that engine is going to get. And obviously, the 2-car tandem, once you get hooked up with somebody, that's definitely the fastest way around this racetrack, but that's the problem. You're not getting any cool air into that engine, and that's why we keep seeing 2 guys are going to push for a lap or 2, and then they got to swap, let the guy in front go to the back, and then the guy in the back who was hot, he's got to get up there, get that cool air into the engine, cool it down, and switch again. So you don't want to get too carried away and blow that engine, and it's definitely a game of chess out there.
talk about that game of chess. You're absolutely right. Andrew Berger started out on the pole during the heat race. He lost that position when they had to make the swap. Of course, slipping up to the outside, had to let the car behind him get a little bit of cool air, make that change. And of course, that kind of throws everything into a kilter there. And of course, when you're only doing a 10-lap shootout, it makes all the difference in the world. I mean, you got to put the hustle on and keep it right and keep it clean. So looking for that two-car swap here tonight. The most likely place it will happen will be inside the turn, usually on the entrance to the turns. You don't want to do it in the middle or coming off the turns. By then it's going to be too late, and I guarantee you somebody's going to occupy the position you had to give up to make that swap. So we'll be looking for that to take place here tonight. Now, 2.5 miles around this track, of speeds approaching 200 miles an hour. Here's the other thing, Cowboy. When it gets down to the end, who's going to be your dancing partner? I mean, these guys making deals. Are they talking to one another? Spotters talking to each other up on the spotter stand. Crew chiefs making deals. What do you think's happening down here, Clint?
Well, it's prom night here in Daytona. Everybody's going to show up with their dates at the beginning of the race, but we'll see some different partners switched in and out, and we'll see how that's going to work out. And if you can keep your partner, you'll make your way up to the front before you know it, and if you can stay there, then it'll be a fantastic race for you and your partner.
You bet. I'll tell you what, we're about ready to get that thing going here just shortly as these guys wind up their practice time. They do, the race officials do allow them to get a little bit of time in here. Let's talk about SuperSpeedway Cup here a minute, Evan. SuperSpeedway Cup, ETV Live got involved with Rod Flagg and the gang here about a year ago or so, and worked a deal, put it together, started broadcasting their races. Come to find out that Friday night here on ETV Live, I'll tell you what, a lot of guys couldn't wait for it to come around. It was Corn Dog and Corona night, and I'll tell you, just a ton of fun here watching these guys duke it out. This is big track racing, short track style, and nobody does it better than SuperSpeedway Cup. You can check them out at ssseries.com if you got some time over there. Talk to Rod Flagg, see if you can't work yourself into a position over there. I know I think they qualify a couple times during the...
And that's right, and we keep mentioning Andrew Berger as a two-time champion. This is now the 4th season for the SuperSpeedway Cup, and they also run 2 other series. They have a SuperSpeedway Enduro Series and a SuperSpeedway Truck Series that are not covered here on ETV Live, but definitely a great variety. And you said big track racing, short track style, and that's the way it is. And time's ticking down right now, and I'm pretty excited for this trophy dash. 12 laps. We're only going to see 2 laps more than the race that we just checked out, but definitely a stacked field.
I'll tell you what, start the music, Cowboys. These boys start getting ready to grid up down here. Final adjustments being made on the cars here tonight. These are the Gen 6 cars. This is that new car that come out here just recently. Not only NASCAR, but iRacing picking up on it too here. We're about 15 seconds away from getting them lined up behind the pace car here tonight. Donnie Garantano, Joshua Hanna, Rodney Wolford. I remember him from last season. Jimmy Tolliver's here tonight. Josh Ball, Rod Flagg. He'll be driving that number 23 machine. And, of course, Berger, Tribico. Victor Bartlett is here tonight with Dallas Markle. I remember Dallas Markle from last season. Jason Ottmans is here. Dale Smalley, Terrence Donovan, Doug Moore, Frank Busiello, who won that last heat race here. They're all here, Cowboy. As the band starts playing the music, we'll get them lined up here and get this thing rolling. On the pole here tonight, Frank Busiello the third. He'll start out in the number 76 machine, Evan. On the outside of him, Dallas Markle in that number 48.
In row number 3, starting third, the number 7, or row number 2 rather, starting third, the number 7 of Rodney Wofford, and right to his right-hand side is going to be number 15 of Josh Ball, who's going to start this off 4th.
And in the 73 machine on the inside, starting in 5th, Terrence Donovan. Outside him in the number 3, 6th position, Donnie Garantano.
Row number 4 is going to be led by the number 5 of Joshua Hanner on the inside, and his number 5. And Andrew Berger, the man himself, the number 24 car, we just saw him. He's going to try to pick up another win for his resume. He's starting 8th.
And in the 23 machine, starting 9th tonight, Rod Flagg. That's the CEO, the Chief Operating Officer, the El Jefe of SuperSpeedway Cup Series here tonight. On the outside of him, Jason Ottmans. He'll be starting in 10th position in that number 51 machine.
Starting in 11th, row number 6, the number 74 car, Doug Moore is going to be starting on that inside lane, and right next to him, the number 69 of Dale Smalley is going to be starting this race off in 12.
Rounding out your field on the inside in the number 39, 13th position, Brandon Cherbico. Victor Bartlett, he'll be starting in 14th in that 42 machine on the outside. Rounding out the field in 15th position in the number 13 machine is going to be Jimmy Tolliver. I'll tell you what, set for 12 laps here, shootout style here at Daytona International Speedway. Pace car is taking them out, leading them around the track here. I'll tell you what, that's a chance to either suck up your belts and get ready or get the butterflies rolling around in the belly. Which do you think is happening down?
It's definitely going to be a combination of both, and as you mentioned, this is the first season that the SuperSpeedway Cup guys are running this new Gen 6, and that is why we're seeing a difference. We now got Fords. We should eventually have Toyotas, but right now Chevy and Ford's manufacturing battle. We have a Ford starting on the pole. He just brought it home to victory lane. That was the number 76, Frank Busialia. And one thing that the drivers are talking about a lot different from this car in comparison to the COT, there's a little bit difference in the draft, the side draft, and once those gauges start flashing for that hot engine, don't mess around with it. These cars get real hot real quick, and it's going to make for a real hot race right here.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's starting to get hot already. You want to polish your spurs and saddle your pony, cowboy. Pace car leading them down through turn 4 here. He'll pull off, make that left-hand turn, go down pit road. And Frank Busiala will get us started here just momentarily. Dallas Markle up on the outside here. Now they're going to stay 2 by 2 pretty much all the way through turns 1 and 2 down the backstretch as they start building up speed. It takes about a lap or so to get these ponies up to galloping speed here at Daytona. So pace car is off, getting ready to set the green flag here. It is up and out, and we are racing 12-lap shootout style here, the trophy dash at Daytona International Speed.
And the 15, Josh Ball, wasting no time. He's right on the bumper of that number 48 of Dallas Miracle on the high side. Now the 7, Rodney Wofford. He's going to pull in behind that 76 of Frank Busialia on the inside line. 2 tandems up front, and then we have the 73, Terrence Donovan. He's going to be looking for a dancing partner. He's by himself. He's going to drop back to the 5 real soon of Joshua Hanner and get going. But right now, up front, it is still the number 76 of Frank Busialia.
And Terrence Donovan opens up a hole, and the 15 drops down in front, leaving the 48 hanging out on the outside up here, cowboy. I'll tell you what, no dancing partners there as the Jack Daniels number 15 machine gets alongside the 48 machine here, but no dancing partner there either. The 48 gets hung out to dry, but I'll tell you what, don't give up yet. There's help coming here. But I'll tell you what, getting off to a good start here at Daytona International Speedway. This is the trophy dash here, so it's all about bragging rights and trophies here. Frank Busiala out in front with Rodney Wolford in the 7 machine, leading us down the back.
And that's right, and as they were sorting things out there for a 3rd position, this lead group right here, number 76, Frank Busiala, and the 7, Rodney Wofford, they have just stayed true to each other, and they are pushing right now. They've opened up a little bit of a gap now on the 3rd and 4th place car, and that's the 15, Josh Ball. He's being pushed by the 5, Joshua Hanner, and now the 48, Dallas Miracle, has finally found a partner. That's the 73 car. Terrence Donovan has picked him up, but Frank Busiala and Rodney Wofford have opened up a half-second lead as they switch into turn number 1.
And the hopeful to win the first heat race here tonight, the 24 machine, Andrew Berger. He finds himself all the way back here in 9th position, guys. Now he's pushing the 3 up here, but I'll tell you what, they've been working that top side since the get-go, and still trying to make that top side work. So I'll tell you what, the line is moving up here. 3 laps in the books here at Daytona. So we still got quite a bit of racing here before the party's over. So I'll tell you what, kind of dancing, slicing and dicing around here, just trying to hang on to the positions that they got. Of course, that means everything here at Daytona. Once you get it, you don't want to give it up.
And that switch for 1st and 2nd position when the number 7 and 76 of Ronnie Wofford, Frank Busialia, the 3rd respectively, they switched. Nobody else has done that yet, and that brought the field right back up to them. They gained that half-second lead. They lost it, but now the 7 and 76, they look real fast together. They're working on the inside, and they have a belt cleared the 48 and the 73, and now you're seeing that 24, Andrew Berger, into the picture. Now the 73 dives down low into turn number 3. 24 comes down over the top of the 15. 15 is going to let him in line. Almost an incident back there, and there's no caution, so you got to be careful. Now the 15 on the bumper of the 24 as they work our way through the tri-oval. But back up front, it's going to be the number 7. Rodney Walker is going to go back to the lead.
You know, back here at 8th position was Hayner in the 5 car, and then the 15, Josh Ball up here. They opened up that huge hole that allowed the 24 machine to jump down inside. So, we got a wreck happening up here with the leaders. Big time wreck. The 3 involved, the 24 involved, 15 car involved. 76 machine, Frank Busiala, who won the heat race, manages to jump out into the lead unscathed. No caution. They sent the flagman home, Cowboys, so you got to drive it to the start-finish line. Terrence Donham and then the number 5 machine back here in the 73 machine, 5th position, is absolutely all tore up. Smoke billowing out from underneath that machine, as well as Jason Ottman's in 12th position. Joshua Hayner in the 5 car here in 9th position. So huge wreck. Took out the back part of that pack up here as Frank Pugiala puts it on cruise control. He's got about a, 25 car lead on the rest of the...
That took out almost our entire field. The 7 pushed up, and I don't know if he just did not check his mirror. The spotter went quiet, but it wasn't close. It looks like he just came down into the 3, and they both turned. And that was right at the front of the field. 7 car up into the catch fence, and that just blocked the entire racetrack. And Frank Busiali up front, Victor Bartlett and Andrew Berger now. Hold on, they have hooked up, and they are the 2nd and 3rd place cars. And Frank Busiali being up there, he has no draft. So the question is, will they be able to catch him? And another interesting thing, I think we have a psychic on the racetrack, and that's the number 13. Jimmy Tolliver started this race in the pits, and he was nearly half a lap behind his whole lead pack that entire time. He's currently sitting 6th because of that wreck, so he stayed back to avoid it, and that's currently paying off for that 13 car, and that's going to end up into a big race for that number 13, Jimmy Tolliver. Once again, he's currently sitting 6th position, so well played by that Ford of his. But Victor Bartlett and Andrew Berger are going to try to chase down the 76 of Frank Busiali as they work lap 7.
I'll tell you what, and they're doing a fine job of it as they try to close the distance up here to Frank Busiali up there in that 76 machine. They got a big old target on the back of that car, and he is definitely inside as they are closing the distance. Now just almost 0.937 seconds, not even a tenth of a second behind here, as they are rapidly coming up onto the 76 machine, making a swap back here. 24 machine, the back end all tore up. I'll tell you what, he's going to need all the help he can get as Victor Bartlett moves in behind with the 42 machine.
And
to the outside they go, going to try to make it past the 76. 76 Busiali down here on the bottom, no help whatsoever for the 76 car as the 24 and the 42 go motoring on by in the truck.
And just when you think you catch a break where they wrecked, now you're struggling to even keep with them because you don't normally see 3 cars are going to be able to draft. 76 hanging in there on the bottom, but normally when 2 cars get hooked up, that 3rd car, if you hop in line right away, it's not going to work. Now the 42 car dropping down behind the 76, 24 comes down low. I'm not sure if that was a switch or not. No, it's not. 42 now up on the bumper of the 76, sorry. He's going to check up, and you mentioned right there the 24. There's no rear end on that machine, so good luck pushing him. That'll be real interesting, but he's just going for it at this point. Everybody in this race is already locked in, and knocked in. I'm not sure if that's, I'm assuming that's locked into at least the B main, but that 24 car, nothing on the rear end. He's just going to be going for it right now, and it's going to be a 3-car race.
A 3-car race, and I'll tell you what, about a lap and a half ago, you had the cockpit shot coming out of the 24, or the 42 rather, looking at the back end of that 24 machine, and he's got somewhat of a spoiler sticking up in the air there. But I'll tell you what, the handling on that car, that's got to be a handful down there. That'd be like riding a wild bronc bareback in the rodeo. I'll tell you what, that car's got to be a handful down there for Andrew Berger. But in the meantime, the 42 machine staying right with the 76. So this will be a 3-car dash to the start-finish line. 10 laps in the books, 2 to go here at Daytona.
And that 13, Jimmy Tolliver, as I mentioned earlier, who started in the pit road, he has now worked his way up to 5th place, passing the 15 of Josh Ball. So how about that for that 13? I was thinking with no cautions, I'm not sure what he's doing, but obviously he knows something that I didn't, because he's now sitting in a top 5 position, 24 seconds off the leader. It's a 3-car race. Then the 69, Dale Smalley in 4th position. He's being pushed by the 23 of Rod Flagg, who is a lap down, trying to get him up in the mix. They are, however, 4 seconds off this lead group, and we are coming by to take the white flag this time by.
This time by white flag, that means that no caution. Of course, they sent the flagmen home. The only guy working tonight's the one up there in the flag stand on the front stretch. As they come by and pick up the white flag, it's going to be Bucciello out in front with Victor Bartlett. Andrew Berger trying to do everything he can with that number 24 machine. Tore up car. I'll tell you what, there is just nothing on the back end of that machine. Even the spoilers all bent to heck here. So you really need that spoiler here at a big track like this. But he's staying tucked up behind the 42 here. That's Victor Bartlett up there. And Bucciello trying to cover the outside, can't make it happen. The 76 has to take the inside. 42 machine goes by the outside, making contact going into turn 3, coming around for the last time. Turn 4, here we go. 76, 42. And looks like Berger just doesn't have anything for him. And wrecked, the leader's wrecked before they get there. So it's who's going to finish first?
Andrew
I'll
Berger.
tell you what, Andrew.
He will take home the win. And that 76 had nothing to do. He had to try to slow them down somehow, because you can't stop that 2-car tandem. He tried the block in turn 3. It didn't work. And as they came onto the front stretch, slight contact sent them both around. 24 went right into the 42. And if he did wreck that thing, the 69, Dale Smalley could have had a shot at. 24 crosses the start-finish line sideways. And at 24, the 69 was hoping that 24 did not slide across the line. Dale Smalley's going to go from 4th to 3rd in that. But at the end of the day, the 24, Andrew Berger, maybe a little luck mixed in there with that skill, but he put that 24 in victory lane once again.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was still looking at the replay there, watching the 42 machine do the triple axle through the grass. I wasn't sure which car to watch here to find out who was going to win the race. I had to double-check my standing sheet here and see who crossed the finish line first. But I'll tell you what, Andrew Berger, who would have known? I'll tell you what, with a tore-up race car, the 24 machine bringing it home for the trophy dash here at Daytona. And we'll see if we can't get him on the radio here and to at least get a talk with him before we get set for the B main here at Daytona.
And that's right, he's burning it down in the infield at 24. What's left of it is going to end up in victory lane, and JD, you got him on the radio.
All right. I'll tell you what, Andrew Berger, probably the favorite to win here at Daytona several times over, as a previous season champ here a couple of times over. And I'll tell you what, I got caught up in that big wreck that happened. The back end of your car just absolutely tore up. And was it a miracle, or tell us about that finish?
Oh my, yeah, that was a pretty crazy race there. Like you said, I got involved in that big one there on middle of the race and got some heavy damage on the front end there. It was hard to stay up with Victor and anybody else in front of me at that point. So thankfully he just kind of worked with me and we caught up to Frank in the front. Just kind of played possum there for a couple laps, and then on the last lap Victor made his move, and unfortunately it looks like they got tangled up and somehow my red car was able to come across the line first.
I'll tell you what, like I said to the boys up here in the booth, I saw the 42 car doing that triple axle through the grass, and of course out the side of my corner of my eye, I seen the 24 machine just go sliding towards the start finish, and I thought, no way, this can't be happening here tonight. But I'll tell you what, Andrew, what a race for the trophy dash here tonight. You're going to pick up the trophy for the 12-lapper here at Daytona. Who made it happen for you?
I got to thank Victor Bartlett there for working with me. I know he's a little upset there what happened at the end, but it was a good race for both of us there. I've got to thank Rod Flagg for keeping this league going for a second season on ETV Live. It was last season, and the season's off to an interesting start, but I'm sure it'll be good. Got to thank Matt for working with me the other race and previous races. It's just been a blast. And I know you guys do a great job at broadcasting. I thank Eastie Radio Network and you guys. It'll be fun. It should be a good day, Bane.
All right, Andrew Berger picking up the trophy for the trophy dash here at Daytona. But I'll tell you what, Cowboy, I hear the band starting to practice down there on Pit Road. The hoedown is about ready to begin here at Daytona International Speedway. We're going to step away, take a commercial break. Hey, don't wander off, Cowboy. Corn dogs and Coronas, fill your cooler. We'll be right back.
Plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV, live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com. If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50 caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy. And we are back live here at Daytona International Speedway. I tell you what, let me get the mouth working here. That's a mouthful. Super Speedway Cup Series. And I tell you what, here at Daytona Beach, Florida, 160,000 fans on hand here tonight. Of course, track opened in 1957 or 1959, broke ground in 57. Charles Moneypenny, the architect. The asphalt track, 2.5 miles around here, 31-degree banking on both ends of the track, a little bit of banking on the trial and backstretch, but I'll tell you what, cowboy, that's for drainage when it rains down here in Florida for sure. But getting ready for the B-Main here, 15-lapper here tonight. Evan Pasocco beside me up here in the booth. I'm covering
for Dakota Ehrman, who's on vacation. Clint Monahan joining us up here for the first time on ETV Live here tonight. And, of course, the bad boy, Magic Fingers, John Westling. Who else would it be down there in the production hauler? He's pushing the buttons on the camera for you tonight, bringing that live action. Evan, 15 laps here at Daytona. We just got out of a trophy dash where Andrew Berger, in a damaged car, did a pirouette down the tri-oval, managed to take home the trophy from the trophy.
And that's right, that was a 12-lap race. We got 15, so we've gone from 10, 12, 15, and the longer the race is just going to mean the action is only going to get better. This is the B main, so it's finishers in the heats, 5th through 13th finishing positions in the original heats. We only covered heat number 1 where you saw that one up first. Then we just covered the trophy dash. Now we're on to the B main. So it's everybody from 5th on back. Still a bunch of great drivers. We have just over 10 or so drivers currently in the session right now. They have about 7 or so minutes left of practice. And what a finish we just saw. They wrecked at the start-finish line. As you mentioned, the 24 car, well, at least half of that 24 car ended up crossing the line. He had no rear end, and that nose was bent in. So it can show you that Daytona, anybody can win here.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, this is a track where you're going to have, a whole bunch of lead changes before the end. And, there's no telling what's going to happen. Heat race number 1, we saw that race first here on ATV Live. And that was Frank Gucciella, Terrence Donovan, Andrew Berger, your top 3 there. Dale Smalley coming in 4th. Hunter Bowles with a solid 5th place finish. Shane McKeechin, I still don't know if that's the right name or not, but Matt Bontempi and Ivan Garcia. And, of course, like we said, the trophy dash here, that's going to be Andrew Berger, Victor Bartlett, and Dale Smalley finishing that one, 1, 2, 3. So getting set for this 15-lapper here tonight. Clint Monahan, let's bring him back up in the booth. First time out here with ETV Live. And I'll tell you what, so far so good. Corn dogs and Corona night, what's on your mind?
It's hamburgers and Coors Light here, but we've had outstanding action in the first 2 races that we covered. I'm so excited for this race. Who would have thought that a car without a rear end would have won the trophy dash? Outstanding.
I'll tell you what, that's got to be a Kodak moment for sure here at Daytona. But when does that ever happen, Cowboy? But I'll tell you what, Corn Dogs and Corona nights, hey, you can have your burgers too if you want. And but I'll tell you, Friday nights here, SuperSpeedway action. This is big track, shootout style, short track style. And like I said, during the last race, the beginning of the last race, Evan, we started this series with Rod Flagg and his boys here about a year ago. And we had so much fun doing this. We had to put a second season together with them. This is actually their 4th season with the SuperSpeedway Cup Series. It's our 2nd season broadcasting with them, and I'll tell you, we have had just an absolute blast. You got to check these guys out, ssseries.com. If you haven't been there yet, make sure you get over there and bookmark it and take a look around over there. Send an email to Rod Flagg, tell him the Cowboy sent you over there, and tell him you're looking to participate in these races. They happen weekly here at SuperSpeedway Cup Series. They've got a couple other divisions running too. Evan, tell us about them.
And that's why it's SuperSpeedway Cup tonight, running Friday nights on ETV Live. They also have 2 other series. They have a SuperSpeedway Enduro series that run every Tuesday night. And they also have a SuperSpeedway Truck series for all you Chevrolet Silverado fans. Love doing those truck races. That runs Thursday night. Check them out, ssseries.com. So much stuff to do, and I'm taking a look at this season's schedule. If you were here last week here on ETV Live, Friday night, we saw the shootout. That was a non-points race. We have 10 points races in this season. Starting off at Daytona, we're going to alternate Daytona, Talladega. And at the midway point in the season, we're going to have an all-star race at Talladega. And then 10 races later, it's going to be Talladega for the end of the season. So 10 points races, and it's going to be great all throughout the season. And one person that's definitely going to be shooting for that is Andrew Berger, a 2-time champion of this series. He's looking to add 3. But I can guarantee you that he has a target on his back from every single one of those other drivers trying to one-up him.
You bet, and I'll tell you what, getting ready to start the B main here. 8 drivers will transfer from this race to the A main. That's the feature race here tonight, which will start about 10 minutes after this particular race finishes. This is the B main we're coming up on here now. So 8 drivers transfer to the A main. and get set for some more Friday night short track super speedway action here at Daytona International Speedway. And I'll tell you what, I left all my paperwork. Actually, let's blame it on Dakota. Dakota took all the paperwork with him, so I don't even have my plug sheet here to plug our sponsors here tonight. But, of course, I'm just filling in, so you know how that goes.
And that's right, you mentioned it's the B main. And top 8 from this B main will make it into the A main. Everybody that you just saw race right before this in the Trophy Dash, they're going to fill the first positions in that A main. Then we have 8 people from here, and then we're going to have 2 provisionals to make out a maximum of a 26 car field for that A main. And all these drivers are going to look to get this season started off right, and I'm counting just over 10 or so drivers, maybe 13 or 14, and the only 8 advance. So we're not only looking at a winner here, we're looking around that 8th spot to see who can make it in there.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, as a warm-up session continues here, they get about another couple of minutes here to make the last-minute checks and get their strategies hooked up, start working those deals with dancing partner here, saddle partner, saddle buddy if you want to call it that. But I'll tell you what, I bet John Wessling probably laughing his ass off down there in that production hauler. When was the last time the Cowboy sat in the booth up here and had to call a race? I know what's going through his mind, Cowboy. But I'll tell you what, this has been a ton of fun for me here tonight, and sometimes I wish I could do this more often. But covering for Dakota here tonight, this is my one and only chance to get up here and mix it up with the boys. Evan Pasoko, of course, just had a note passed to me from the hauler down there. John says he hopes that Dakota doesn't miss too many more days. But I tell you what, working up here with Evan Pasoko, now there's a young man who just graduated from the Dakota Herman School of Broadcasting. I'll tell you what, fast-tracked that kid from pit road up into the booth. Evan Pasoko doing an outstanding job up here calling races on pretty much any given night. Especially, I think, aren't you working Monday nights with the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series?
I got a plate full. I'm here Monday nights with the Full Throttle Cup Series. Me and Dakota are doing that. Me and Dakota also do this, the SuperSpeedway Series, on Fridays. And I've also been tossed in Sunday nights. Me and Kyle Young, we're covering the ETV Live Team Series, who are now in trucks also. So lots of racing, lots of fun. And it's great to be up in the booth, get to see a lot of great sim racing with a bunch of great drivers, and then you'll run into them in a hosted session and you'll know someone. So it's real cool, and definitely a great race as we're about to hit the grid.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, we're in for a fun night here tonight. It ain't over yet, Cowboy. I know Rod Flagg, he's got one of them custom radios on the dashboard of his car down there, so he's listening in, paying attention. And I see somebody else down there. We'll get to him here in a minute, but let's start him out on the starting grid here tonight. Starting out on the pole in the number 29 machine, he finished in, I believe it was in 5th position in heat race number 1. Hunter Bowles, he'll be in that number 29 machine, guys, on the outside of him. In the number 70 car, Brian Bennett, he'll be starting 2nd on the outside.
Row number 2, the number 89 car, Kerry A. Witt. He's going to be starting 3rd, and to his right-hand side is going to be starting on that high right side up on the top, number 8, Dana Osborne starting 4th.
And in row number 3 on the inside, in the 17 car, Gary Tarvin. Stephen Meyer, he'll be starting out on the outside in the 22 machine.
Row number 4, starting 7th, is going to be the number 28, Shane McEachin, and then to his right-hand side, starting 8th, the number 20 car, Matt Botampi.
David Saunders, he'll start on row number 5 here, the number 30 machine on the inside. On the outside of him, Raymond Evans in number 83.
Starting 11th position, looking in at that top 10, and starting off row number 6, the number 88, Chris Jennings. And to his right-hand side, starting in the 12th position, we have the number 72 of Ivan Garcia.
Row number 7, and on the inside, the 26th machine of Daniel Holloway. Outside him, in the number 33 car, in 14th, Larry.
Starting in 15th position, the number 78 of James Fenn, and the number 06 of Mark Brown is starting 16th, and rounding off the field, we have the number 71 of Phil Foltz. starting in his reverse numbered position in 17th. He's going to round off our field.
And Phil Foltz, that's the CEO of HD Radio Network. And I'll tell you what, ETV Live Radio being powered by, actually ETV Live and ETV Live Radio being powered by the HD Radio Network. That's Phil Foltz, CEO down there in 17th position. Let's keep an eye on that 71 machine. I know he can sneak up to the front here real quietly at these big tracks as well. Hunter Bowles, in the meantime, up here looking at the bumper of the pace car. He'll get ready to start this thing off for us tonight. He's got Brian Bennett up on the outside. I'll tell you what, 15 laps here with the B main as we get the ball rolling here just shortly, coming off of turn 4 here. I'll tell you what, and again, they sent the flagman home, Evan, and the only guy working tonight is up in the flag stand. So he'll be throwing that green flag up here just momentarily as the pace car pulls off. And the green flag is up, and it's running, and the 29 machine gets an early jump over the 70. 70 sound asleep at the wheel here. In the meantime, the 89 and the 70 get a good jump on the...
And one thing that number 70 of Brian Bennett does not want to see is the car that was starting behind him, the 8 of Dana Osborne, has dropped to the inside. He's now behind the 17 of Gary Tarvin, high side caught sleeping. Now the 17 is going to suck up to the draft behind the leader. 70 coming down in front of that 8 car. They're looking to get hooked up. 8 gets a little bit loose. It looks like he's stuck on the high side, and he's now going to be overtaken by the 22. Not the start that 8 wants. And here come 2 tandems right behind him. 30 is going to back off the 20 to avoid making contact with that 8, and the 20 into 83 also had to check up for that. Things are getting real crowded here on lap 1, but as we're going to come to the stripe, it's going to be the man who got the pole for this race, the 29. Hunter Bowles is going to come and take lap 1.
I'll tell you what, they got it in single file, pretty lickety split here at Daytona. Usually they spend a couple of laps 2 by 2. Of course, that doesn't happen until you get back here to about 9th position. The 83 machine, that's going to be Ramon Evans up on the outside here with the 30 down on the bottom. Evans got a little bit of help out of Chris Jennings, the 88, working that top side up here. But I'll tell you what, things are slicing and dicing back here on the backstretch as the holes open up and they get filled almost as quickly. So that's going to leave a couple of them hanging out here at the 88 machine for sure as he gets hung out to dry. So I'll tell you what, these guys are getting right after it. Cut them ponies loose, Cowboy. Open up the Corolla bars, and here we go.
And that's right after we get away from our 2-car breakaway of the 29 and the 89. We got a huge battle going on for second place. They're almost racing like it's the last lap. We've got 4 cars on the inside. That's the 27, the 70, the 72, and the 20. Also being pushed by the 30. Then a 2-car tandem. That's the 8 of Dana Osborne. He's getting a shove from the 28 of Shea McKeechan on the high side, trying to make something work. They're all chasing down our leaders who have opened up a 1.2-second lead on the rest of the field.
I'll tell you what, working together up there, Hunter Bowles and Kerry Witt, that's doing exactly what they need to do there. Stay calm, cool, and collected, and just ride them ponies to the finish line here. But I'll tell you what, back in the back, like you said, they were slicing and dicing up here pretty good here. Shane McKeechan back here in 28, in the 28 machine, as he takes a bite out of the apron, gets sideways, can't get it back, hangs on to it as they go rolling by him going into turn 1. He's got to get off the throttle. Oh, makes that transition back up on the track. Good job for that 28 machine. He goes up to the high side, let that oncoming traffic go past him. But I tell you what, that's going to set him back quite a ways. He's got to be able to hook up on the tail here and catch somebody for a ride and get back up to the front. But that was a disaster. Almost ready to happen. Another one up here in front of the 30 machine, up here in 10th position. I'll tell you what, they are cutting back and forth, looking for every possibility they can get to make a move to the front. Oh, we got one slicing and dicing, and one in the grass. That's going to be the 83 machine. Comes by. Oh, big wreck happening, guys.
The 70 car of Brian Bennett being pushed by the 22. He got squished in between that and the 8. Got real loose, and he almost saved it, but that 83 car, Raymond Emmons on the bottom, nowhere to go. He got loose in the grass, and then he came right back up onto the racetrack because he can't make a left-hand turn on that flat grass. Comes up, catches the 78, and ensues a fairly large incident, and with no cautions, definitely not what you want to see. And the only people that are loving this right now, Hunter Bowles, Kerry Witt, are still up front all by themselves. A 1.5-second lead over the 3rd place car, and that is the 17 of Gary Tarvin with help from Matt Botempi. So definitely a very spread out race right now. Kerry Witt, Hunter Bowles in control.
And I'll tell you what, this is, well, first of all, let's catch up to the 71 machine here, and I'll tell you what else is going on here. 71 car, Phil Foltz, he just missed all that happening. So I'll tell you what, there is a point to starting in the back of the pack, and Phil Foltz, he probably saw it coming before the green flag even flew. But Phil Foltz now up to the 8th position here. Remember, he started all the way in the back, 17th. So that 71 machine certainly putting it together. He's got a dancing partner for now. It's going to be the 22 of Stephen Meyer up here. But let's get back to the commentary here. I'll tell you what, Rod Flagg, he's listening in. Yeah, I said parole bars, cowboy. What I meant to say was corral bars. But turning them ponies loose, open up the corral bars and let them go. But I tell you what, these guys certainly know how to put on a show here tonight, and that's what we're doing. 7 laps in the books, almost at the halfway point here, Evan. And I'll tell you what, things have gotten spread out up here.
And one thing that we didn't want to see, the number 17, Gary Tarvin, who was being pushed by that 20 of Matt Botempi, lap 6, going into turn number 3, I do want to say. Went for the switch, and the 17 just went a little bit too high as the 20 got loose on his bumper. 17 up into the outside wall. Didn't take much damage, but definitely slowed him down. They have been overtaken by the 8 and the 70 car. Now they have caught back up, and we have the big pack brewing around 5th position. So we have 2 lead breakaways, Hunter Bowles and Kerry Witt for 1st and 2nd. Dana Osborne and Brian Bennett, catching. That is 3rd and 4th place. Then we got a big group battling for 5th.
You have back here Phil Foltzkin, 71 machine. He's up on the outside, 8th position back here. This is the group of cars you're talking about. And I'll tell you what, in front of him, just about a half a lap ago, these guys were bouncing back and forth, looking for everything they could get. The 22 machine out in front of the 71. That ain't going to last long, cowboy. That 71 is going to have to get down and get that motor cooled off here in a couple of laps before it overheats. But I'll tell you what, comes through the tri-oval, that slingshot action you get coming through there, throws your car up to the outside, a lot of left-hand pressure to try to keep that pony from taking you for a wild ride through that tri-oval. But in the meantime, out in front, cowboy, Hunter Bowles, he just got that thing on cruise control with Kerry Witt in the 89 car up here. They'll make a swap here and get that 89 cooled off. As here we go, the 29 moves up to the top side, 89 comes along on the bottom, plenty of room. No threat from Brian Bennett back here in 3rd position as they make the swap. 9 laps in the books here, 15 on the board for the Beam A.
And we saw that 70, Brian Bennett, he was gaining ground, but they almost lost it. He was being pushed by the 8 of Dana Osborne, rather. And as they came onto the backstretch, the 8 almost spun out, went sideways down onto the apron, and that is why he is no longer with that 70 car. He dropped back, and now the 20, Matt Botempi, who almost wrecked also, they've hooked up with the 8. They're going to look to go around him, and Dana wants to get back with that 70. He's going to plow into the rear end of that 70 car on the back straightaway. That's going to create about a 3-car pack for 3rd position, and that's only helping out our leaders. They made a switch, and they're not losing much ground, or the lead rather, that they have, and they are just pulling away. So everybody behind them definitely going to be trying to catch up as the laps are ticking away real quick here.
Yeah, they do here. I'll tell you what, 11 laps in the books, and I was watching that 8 machine as he pulled up to the back of that 70, and I'll tell you what, he made a pretty hard hit on that 70 car up there. You got to be careful with that here, especially when you're doing almost 200 miles an hour. But I tell you what, we are on board here with Dana Osborne as we close in on turn 3 here. And I'll tell you what, quite a lead up here that Kerry Witt and Hunter Bowles have developed up here, almost 1.3 seconds out here in front. But let's go back to the action back here. We were watching about 9th position or 8th position forward here. Let's talk about the 88 machine here. It's going to be Chris Jennings here in 7th, now 8th position. And of course, dead ahead is the 71 machine. Talking about making that swap as the 71 is now in front, getting that cool air. 71 machine drops to the bottom here, going to try to work a 4-car draft here and try to close some distance on the leaders up there. But I'll tell you what, cowboy, 3 laps left in this one. Don't know if they've got any time left or not.
And another car that almost wiped out, the 17, Gary Tarvin, last time through the tri-oval on the bumper of that 20. His left side tires just caught that flat apron, unlike Talladega where we have a little bit of a banked apron that works down, it gets flat real quick, and he got sideways in that trial. Manages to hang on to that car, but it's going to be a 2-horse race as we are on lap 13. 2 laps to go next time by. They're out in the lead, but don't count that 8 car out as they are gaining a lot of ground. Now 70 car, Brian Bennett, who was pushing that 8. He gets way sideways up in the wall, bouncing out. Everybody's going to get by behind him, but a huge impact.
Big wreck back here on the backstretch. I'll roll it backwards here and see if I can count the cars involved here. 70 machine involved. Now that's going to be Brian Bennett, and don't know where it started here, but I'll tell you what, a lot of action happening here coming off of what looks like turn 2 here, heading down the backstretch. 70 car tags the wall, gets a piece of the action there, and then looks like about 3 or 4 other cars. But I'll tell you what, this thing is absolutely winding down with Hunter Bowles out in front, being told that Hunter Bowles was the Truck Series champion last season as well. So Hunter Bowles, he knows what it's like to be in the front of the line here at Daytona as well. So I'll tell you what, with about a 3-second lead, you have Kerry Witt and Osborne back here behind these guys, closing the distance. Philip Foltz now moves up into 4th position. I believe that was probably some of the attrition that happened off that wreck that happened here about a lap and a half ago. But Philip Foltz certainly got his work cut out for him. He's got a, well, let's call it a herd of cars behind them, the 20 and the 88 side by side here as they try to push the 71 down the back.
In top 8 advance, Ivan Garcia. He is currently in that 8th position, and it doesn't look like there's anybody near behind him for 10 seconds. So assuming we don't see a big wreck before we get to the trial, our top 8 seem to be good, but it's the battle up front right now for the win. It's the 2 cars that have dominated this entire race. The 89, Kerry Witt, he's being pushed by the 29 of Hunter Bowles as they work their way through the final 2 corners. The 8, Dana Osborne, couldn't hop onto that draft. They're going to come to the trial now. 29 is going to step outside. He's going to have the run. Can he get him at the line? 89 is going to hold the bottom, and the 89 of Kerry Witt going to victory lane.
I'll tell you what a race. The B main comes to a close here at Daytona International Speedway. I'll tell you what, you come off of turn 4 here, you got your dancing partner, you've been dancing all night long here, and of course when the music stops, it's like playing musical chairs. What are you going to do, cowboy? You're going to be the last one standing. Kerry Witt, he knew what to do, takes the 89 machine to the win with Hunter Bowles with a very close second. Looks like about 28 hundredths of a second here behind Kerry Witt side by side at the start-finish line. So what a race here for the B main at Daytona.
And definitely 29 tried to make his move, just not enough time, and I can guarantee if we were at Talladega, 29 may have won that race. As they came off the trial, he got right side by side with that 89, but with the trial being right, or the finish line being right in the middle of the trial rather, couldn't get it done, and Kerry Witt's going to take the win by 0.02 of a second, or 28 thousandths if you want to be precise, and he is going to take home the victory here in that B main. His number 89 car is tore up, but it was a fast one, and it was a great battle there at the end. We only had 10 cars on the lead lap at the end of the race.
You bet, and I'll tell you what, we're looking, we're going to send John, down through the hauler, see if we can't find where Kerry Witt's hauler is, and see if we can't get a word with him. But in the meantime, as we get set for the A main here at Daytona International Speedway, why don't we, while we're waiting on Kerry Witt, well, actually we've got Hunter Bowles. Hunter Bowles up here on the radio with us. Hunter, tell us about that finish.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun race. Me and Kerry checked out from the beginning. We got a pretty good gap, and I'm surprised they didn't catch us. But I don't know what happened in the back, but I'm just glad I could advance.
Hey, I'll tell you what, the music starts on lap number 1, and you got 15 laps worth of music. You're dancing along there with Kerry Witt. You and your crew chief formulating a plan. What was the plan coming down to the end there? Do you have anything for Hunter at all, or
I really wasn't worried about beating him to the line. Of course, it would have been good to beat him, but I was just more worried about advancing to the end, to the A main.
All right. Well, I think you're assured a seat there in the A main. Congratulations on the second place finish here at Daytona. Who made it happen for you?
I gotta thank Rod for running this series. He puts a lot of money into it, and just couldn't thank him enough.
You bet. Rod Flag SuperSpeedway Cup Series tonight, and I'll tell you what, that was Hunter Bowles with a second place finish here at Daytona. As we get set for the A main, we're going to go ahead and step away, take a commercial break. Hey, fill your coolers, cowboy. Corn dogs and Corona night here at Daytona International Speedway with the SuperSpeedway Cup Series shootout style. So don't wander off. We'll be right back.
If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50 caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy. Listeners, where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll. You got radio, ETV, live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks. HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com. And we are back live here at Daytona International Speedway. And I'll tell you what, this is big track racing, shootout style, short track style. And I'll tell you what, if you're just now tuning in, we're getting set for the A main to start here. And we just completed the B main. Kerry Witt going home with the trophy. Hunter Bowles with a solid second place finish. A good finish right there at the start finish line. But in the meantime, Dale Smalley on the radio with us up here. Dale, this is JD and Evan Pasoko up here in the booth. You got?
Yes, sir. Got you.
Hey, I think I recognize your name. Can't place the league right off the top of my head, but I believe this is your first time out with the SuperSpeedway series. Is that?
Yeah, this is my first time with the SuperSpeedway series. I do run the Sunday Money series too.
Sunday Money series over at Cora. You bet. Championship Online Racing Association. I'll tell you what, SuperSpeedway series. This is a different kind of a show here tonight. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I like it. I like the SuperSpeedways. I'm a big time dig ahead in Daytona. I love it.
Dig ahead, Daytona. I tell you what, I think that's what everybody starts out at. And I mean, if you can't have any fun at these big tracks, there's something wrong. But I'll tell you what, this is a different kind of big track racing here at these two tracks. This is more like the shootout style or the short track type stuff you'd see at the local track. What's your take on that? Give me your thoughts on this on the shootout style type racing.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's a new format for me. I haven't done it like this yet, but it's pretty cool. I like the qualifying, and you got to move on. You got to do so good to get going with it.
You bet. I'll tell you what, I think I hear your crew chief back there in the background, but I'll tell you in the meantime, we got the A-Main coming up here, 30-lap race. So what kind of strategy you got put together for?
Pedal to the floor and get to the front and hopefully stay out of trouble.
Isn't that how it always is? Pedal to the floor and get to the front and stay out of trouble. I'll tell you what, that almost sounds like words coming out of Mark Martin. But any last thoughts here?
Nah, I just hope I can miss the big one. That's the main thing. Just got to miss that big one.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, you tell that little one in the background to pay attention. Watch her daddy take a trophy home tonight here from Daytona. That was Dale Smalley, guys. I'll tell you what, we'll be keeping an eye on him tonight. Evan, 30 laps here at Daytona for the A-Main. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, we just doubled the length of what we just ran, which was our longest in the B-Main, which is 15 laps. We're doing 30 laps, and with no cautions, it's definitely going to be a survival of the fittest. And if you're looking at how the points work here, I believe I read that the leader, or the winner of this race, rather, will receive about 26 points. Yeah, 26 points for the leader. And as you go backwards, it's 1 point difference per position, according to the information that I've been given. So you definitely, if you're wrecking right away, it doesn't mean you're out of contention for a championship, but you're gonna end up making it a lot harder on yourself. And these guys got to remember, this is our first points race of the season, and we got 10 races in total this season, so they got to be smart when they get attack this. They don't want to get over their head and wreck it racing real hard on lap 14. So you're definitely going to see a lot of mixed strategy. Maybe people dropping back a bit, but you don't want to drop back too far. You'll lose that main draft, and then you'll just take yourself out of the race. So it'll definitely be interesting to see the mixtures of strategy as we just have about 3 minutes left in practice.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, again, this is looking for a dancing partner. I mean, you can't do this alone by yourself. There's no way. You got to be able to hook up with somebody and be able to put enough trust in them that the car in front of you is going to be, good enough to stick with it. But I'll tell you what, the last couple of races we watched here, starting with the heat race, I mean, they're going to bounce around, dice around a little bit, slice it up, and, try to find that dancing partner and get comfortable and, ride along for a while. Now, we saw that last race, we saw Kerry Witt and Hunter Bowles open up such a lead. Hey, Cowboys, stick the elbow out the window, put it on cruise control, and away we go. Don't know if we're going to see that during the A-Main here tonight as we finish off the practice rounds here. But I'll tell you what, this is going to be a night to remember. This is basically the first official night of SuperSpeedway short track racing here at Daytona. And I tell you what, Evan Pasoko alongside me up here, John, the bad boy. We call him, Magic Fingers. I don't know who started that, maybe me, but Magic Fingers. There is no better pushing the buttons. John Wessling downstairs in the booth. But I tell you what, Clinton Monahan along for the ride here tonight as well, as we go ahead and send it trackside for the Cactus Cuties to present our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And we are back live here at Daytona. Big thank you to the Cactus Cuties and the Virtual Thunderbirds for the flyover there. Let's send it down trackside for those famous words and motors.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
All right, let's get them started out here on the pole tonight in the number 24 machine. Row 1 is going to be Andrew Berger. Outside him in a 42 car, Victor Bart.
We just spoke to him, starting off row number 2 in third position, the number 69, Dale Smalley, and on his outside, the number 13 of Jimmy Tolliver.
Row number 3 is going to start with Josh Ball. He'll be down on the inside in that number 15 machine. Into 76 on the outside, Frank Busia.
Row number 4, the number 23, Rod Flagg, starting in 7th position, and to his right-hand side, the 48, Dallas Miracle, starting 8th.
Row number 5, into 5 machine, and is Joshua Hayner on the outside of him in the 51 car, Jason Holt.
Starting 11th position, the number 3, your shootout winner, Donnie Giratano, and starting 12th, the number 73 of Terrence Donovan.
Brandon Chaburko on the 39 machine. He'll be starting in 13th position on the inside. Outside him in the number 7, Rodney Wall.
Starting in 15th position, the number 74 of Doug Moore, and starting 16th, the number 21, Glenn Hedrick.
Kerry Witt, he'll be starting in the 89 machine on the inside. 17th on the outside of him, Hunter Bowles in the 29.
Starting 19th is going to be the number 8 of Dana Osborne, and starting 20th, the number 71 of Phil Holt.
Matt Botempi, he'll be starting in that number 20 machine on the inside. 21st position. Outside him in 22nd to 88 of Chris Jennings.
Stephen Meyer in the number 22 starting 23rd, and the 72 of Ivan Garcia starting 24th.
Rounding out your field in 25th position in the number 17 machine, Gary Tarvin, Mark Brown, and the 06 on the outside as we get ready to get the ball rolling here at Daytona. This is the A-Main, 30 laps on the board here tonight for the big one. And I'll tell you what, if you haven't got your coolers filled, well, I'll tell you what, you better get them filled as the pace car pulls off. We're getting ready to get this thing rolling. Andrew Berger is going to take him down to the green flag here, the 24 machine, easy on the throttle, and we are racing here at Daytona. Andrew Berger out in front with Victor Bartlett up on the outside, the 42 machine. We saw what happened to him in that last race, doing that triple axle through the grass here at the start-finish line. But I'll tell you what, Evan, we're getting ready for a good race here tonight at Daytona.
Everything that we've seen so far has been in preparation for this, and it's time to go for it. No cautions. You have to find that perfect mixture of aggressiveness and conserving of your race car if you want to make it this 30 laps incident-free and hopefully have a clean race car. We've seen the 24 win with the no rear end, so anything's possible. He's going to pull in line now behind the number 42, Victor Bartlett. They're going to swap positions from where they started this race, and it's going to be the 42, Victor Bartlett, being pushed by Andrew Berger, will lead lap 1.
I'll tell you what, contact already being made back here, the 15 and the 76 machine here, 76 up on the outside, 15 car, 6th position down here. But I'll tell you what, right from the get-go, Evan, these guys, the deals were made during the practice warm-up session here, crew chiefs, drivers talking to one another, and I'll tell you what, they were mixing it up here right on the first lap, getting their dancing partners all set. Looks like they got it all squared away as the 76 and the 13 machine up there on the top, looking for a hole on the bottom. 15 car's got it covered down here. He's got some help from the 23 car. That's Rod Flagg sitting here in the top 10, 8th position here as they come off the turn.
And right behind them, we have an absolutely huge pack. They're slowly starting to break away into tandems, but definitely a large group of cars right there. We hear drivers coming over the radio. Glenn Hedrick has said check up twice. Things are definitely getting real tight back in that whole group right now, but back up front, Andrew Berger still pushing that number 42. Here comes the 69 though, Dale Smalley with help from the 48 car of Dallas Miracle. They're making a run now for second position rather. They're currently sitting third and fourth. 69 gets a wiggle, comes down in front of the 48, manages to stay clear, and they're going to work their way off turn number 4.
I'll tell you what, that group of cars, they usually call that a herd of cars here on ETV Live. But I'll tell you what, Cowboy, I don't think it's over yet here. These guys still dance around here looking for a partner here. But let's go take it back to Glenn Hedrick back here, 21 car. He's back here in 14th position, working that top side up here. Now he's got a ways to go to get up there to the front of the 73, Terrence Donovan, to try to make that top line work. The 51 car leaves the 73 up on the top side, and there goes Terrence following the 81 or the 51 right down to the bottom here. So I'll tell you what, with 4 laps in the books here, still a lot of racing left to go here at Daytona. Remember, this is a 30-lap shootout here, so still a long ways to go. So these guys making the top work, making the bottom work. When the hole opens up on the bottom, it gets filled up pretty immediately. As Rodney Wofford in 13th position, pushing the 21 machine, taking a look at the bottom. They're going to move to the bottom here, coming off of turn 3. Your
top 9 or so cars are single file. Then we get back to the 73, Terrence Donovan. He's being pushed by that 5 of Joshua Hanner on the high side. They're making up some time with that push bump draft, but they can't hold that for too long. They're going to try to work up as much ground as possible here as they work their way through the corner on the top side. Now they're going to become separated now, and that inside line with so many cars, they don't need to be bump drafting, and they're just going to have so much speed as they cross the line at over 200 miles an hour.
I'll tell you what, you know, with the amount of laps here, 30 laps on the board here, you know, these guys aren't getting away with like they did the first couple of races. You know, Evan, we saw, I think it was, trying to look back through my paperwork, that first heat race, and then of course that second race, the trophy race. You know, the leaders were able to get a pretty big jump on the field here by working together, staying right hooked up bumper to bumper. That's not happening in this one, Cowboy. I'll tell you what, we got a herd of cars up here in front, starting with that 42 machine of Victor Bartlett, Andrew Berger, that 24 car. We talked about him, watching him during that B main race. But I'll tell you what, back from those guys all the way back, it's 2 by 2. Back to the 5 machine, the 51, the 21 working the top side up here, the 29 machine coming into play. That's Hunter Bowles. And also looks like the 39 machine of Brandon Turbico. So 2 by 2 from that 13th position all the way to the front.
You're seeing that on that great onboard, the gyro cam on board, and we've already have one car out of the race. The 88, Chris Jennings, has blown his motor. He blew that 2 laps ago running by himself, so obviously a mechanical issue for that car, not the night he wants. He's going to finish dead last in 26th position and pick up just a handful of points. But up front, we have 2 huge lanes now, almost looking like we're seeing pack racing more as opposed to the 2-car tandem. It's going to come involved. This is some great racing now. We have a bunch of drivers hopping up to that high side. Now the 21 car says, I don't want part of that. Glenn Hedrick on the bottom, and it seems like the line with more cars is going to get the run, and they are shuffling all over the place. Some great racing here down the back straightaway. Just hoping they can keep it clean for the rest of the race, not make any mistakes, because this is some real tight racing.
You know, let's take it all the way back to 19th position back here, the 71 machine. If I don't give this guy some airtime, I won't hear the end of it. This is basically our boss here. This is Philip Foltz. He's the CEO of HD Radio Network. Of course, ETV Live Radio, ETV Live being powered by the HD Radio Network, some high-powered servers located down there in Phoenix, Arizona. And I'll tell you what, Phil Foltz having a good time out here at Daytona with the SuperSpeedway Cup Series. So we're giving a little bit of airtime to our buddy down there in that 71 machine. But out in front of him, they call that a herd of cars up here. Let's start out with the 39 of Brandon Turbico. He's been running that top side up here. You got Rodney Wolford down here, up here as well in that 7 machine. But trying to make that top side work up here, doesn't look like they're getting any.
And a tough racetrack. We also had another incident back on lap 8 off of turn 2, I believe. I'm not sure if it was that, but the 17 spun off the bumper of the 20 and pounded into the 72 of Ivan Garcia. Those guys are currently in pit road with pretty significant damage. So that is 3 down, 23 to go. Drivers are still beating the track, but that track almost acting like the Monster Mile. He's trying to fight back Daytona, a tough racetrack for these drivers. But we're seeing some tough racing, tough competitors. Still one giant group. You can't count anybody out yet. And we got some great racing still going on now as the 48 Dallas Miracle with a huge shot from that me car, the number 69. Dale Small on the high side. They're going to stall out off the corner, and here comes the 42 again on the bottom. They're going to be side by side as they work their way through the trial. 48's going to lead the lap.
I'll tell you what, you know, Evan, usually we're going to see about, probably 18, 25 lead changes here at Daytona, but the way these guys are racing, we may only see a couple of lead changes here. Nobody's taken this thing 3 wide yet. Now, I remember from last season, we saw plenty of it happening here at these big tracks, but I tell you what, I guess nobody's brave enough to take it up to that wall up there and try to make that outside lane run yet. But 2 by 2 from the front to the back, Cowboys. We've got a slow car up on the top. I believe that's going to be Chris Jennings, or I mean Ivan Garcia in the 72 machine up here, guys. He's going to go a lap down here to the leaders as he takes a souvenir off the wall coming through the tri-oval. So staying up out of the way, the 72 machine of Ivan Garcia already going down a lap here at Daytona.
And keep an eye on that number 13 car, 6th position right now, 3rd car on the inside row, and that is Jimmy Tolliver. His car obviously is not very happy in the draft right now. That car's been wiggling quite a bit. He's managed to get it back up to the bumper now of the 24 of your defending champion, Andrew Berger. But that 13 car is real loose now, but it's going to be the 48 and the 42. They have stayed on the bottom, rather. They're going to lead this lap again, but that 69 and the 73 are still hanging on tight, and this is real close. They are staying in a big pack. We have not seen a 10-car breakaway, a 2-car breakaway like we saw last race. They are all there, and you normally are not going to be able to race like this for too long without any sort of mistake and causing a big incident. So everybody definitely on their toes right now. Will the big one happen? They definitely hope that it won't, rather, but we're working lap 13, and it's going to be good, hard racing all the way back to the field still. Now as the 69 is going to work up another charge as they enter turn 3.
You bet. You know, let's talk about Daytona here for a minute, what it means to be inside one of these cars. You know, if you're out there in front, you put the pedal to the metal, put it on cruise control, stick your elbow out the window and ride, cowboy. But if you're the guys in behind, you got another ball game playing here. It's a lot of work to keep those cars headed in the right direction at the right speed. You just can't mash the throttle down and keep it there like the guys out in front. So the draft comes into play there. The draft looks like a kind of a big vacuum cleaner. It's just going to suck you right up to the bumper of the car in front of you. But you got to be ready for that. Pedal the brakes a little bit, pedal the throttle, and really pay attention. But I'll tell you what, in the meantime, Dallas Markle and Victor Bartlett out here in front, like I said, they got the elbows out the window, one arm on the wheel. It's cruise control, cowboy, with the 8-track cassette player.
And we have lots of loose cars. You mentioned in that draft, these cars that air is going to be knocking you around in that car. Your car is going to want to go every which way but the way you're trying to make it go, and that's straight and then left in the corners, and that's why you see the guys slightly moving left and right in the corner. They're working that wheel. They don't just have it locked. They're jabbing at it left, right, slowly sawing away at that steering wheel, trying to keep it straight in the corner. You saw it there on the onboard, and we are still too wide. Great racing. The question is, will it last? Battle up front now. 13 gets real loose on the apron. Sliding down on that double yellow line. He's going to hang on to it. What a save for that number 13 car. Jimmy Tolliver, close calls. They're 3 wide as they work their way around him.
3 wide, the 76 having to move off the 13, take a position up the middle, the 7 up on the outside, makes the pass on the 13 cleanly. But I'll tell you what, the Good Hands Award goes to the driver of that 13 car, Jimmy Tolliver, for keeping that machine pointed in the right direction. At almost 200 miles an hour, you do not want to tangle with that double yellow line down there on the bottom, especially when you're in the turns or coming off the tri-oval. So good move for Jimmy Tolliver in saving that 13 machine from could have been a drastic ending here at Daytona. In the meantime, let me get the name right. Brandon Turbico, Chuberko up here in the 39. Chuberko. Where is Dakota anyway? But in that 39 machine, 12th position here, he's just kind of been hanging out. Now, I've seen Brandon race this series last season. And I'll tell you what, this guy is another one to keep an eye on. I'm starting to pick out some names here that I recognize, but and also second at points. So Brandon Chuberko is certainly a car to watch here tonight. But in the meantime, starting to dice it up here just a little bit up in front. Dallas Marco, Victor Bartlett pretty much on their own up here a little bit as the separation starts to take place. Watching the 24 machine up here, that's going to be Andrew Berger. Remember, he was one of the cars to watch here tonight. Opened up a hole between the leaders up here, but of course the draft quickly catches up as the 3, the 5, and the 73 machine up there on the top work the top side coming off the turn.
And we saw our lead 4 cars get single file for an instance there as we came by to complete lap number 17. Then they doubled up again. Now the 73, the 5 going to jump in line, but watch that 3 car. Your winner of the shootout again, Donnie Giratano. He's being pushed by the number 7 car. That's Rodney Walford on the high side. We also mentioned the 24 Andrew Berger. He almost got left. He had to drop back to the front bumper of that 69 car to not lose the draft. Lots of shuffling as the 48 and the 7 get real close that time by off the tri-oval. The laps are ticking down, and we're only going to see the intensity pick up as now your leaders take lap 19 as they work their way through turns 1 and 2. 42 thinking to jump up to the high side, is going to come back down in front of the 48. 48 gets loose into the 3 car, and they're around. Big wreck down the back straightaway in front of the field.
I got to roll this one backwards here a little bit. I was actually watching the 29 machine of Hunter Bowles as he watches all that happening out in front of him here as we come off of turn 2 here, heading down the backstretch. Now they move it up here and see what happened. The 3 car may have started that up here. Taking a look, no, it's actually the 48. Gets that slingshot action coming off the turn right into the 3 car. And of course, that takes them both into the wall. They do the triple axle down the backstretch, and miraculously, they're the only 2 cars involved.
I don't know how that didn't take out the majority of the field, but that caused a lot of checking up, and now we finally see 2 packs essentially. We have our lead group, and then we have 2 cars, Rebels. They're going to try to bump draft their way, use that tandem to catch back up. But right up front, we have a big battle up front, as we just mentioned, for the lead. Everybody shuffling around, trying to get their head back on straight. That was the wreck. Managed to only take 2 cars. Great job by all those drivers for simultaneously dropping down below that double yellow line to avoid that incident. And the 24 car was right there. That's definitely not what he wanted to see. But right now, he is still back up front, pushing that 42.
I'll tell you what, Cowboy, check your drawers because we're still pushing it here, doing a fine job of it too. 21 laps in the books here. Victor Bartlett still out front with Andrew Berger Are those two going to give it up, or what's happening here as they make the swap coming off the turn? And, of course, right in behind the 7 pulls right up on them, and the looks like Berger going to have to take a position up on the outside. So the 69 car down here on the bottom with the that's Rodney Wofford. He's got the Dale Smalley, actually Dale Smalley in the 69 machine, and Wofford is going to be in that number 7 machine. But Wofford to the lead for now, but it ain't over yet, Cowboy. 22 laps in the books, 30 laps on the board here, so we are definitely on the downhill side with 8 to go.
And one car that slowly chipped away at the leaders is the number 39. Brandon Chaburko finished second in points last season. He's right at the back of this lead draft. He is pushing the 51 of Jason Altman's. Now he's going to drop down below the 73, leaving that 51 car with nobody to go with. 59 is going to drop back on the inside, and everybody is single filed back out for now. And that's your lead group right now. Now Andrew Berger managed to complete that switch, and the 42 pushed him back up to the lead there in front. And that's where you see the majority of the lead changes, is when you make that switch. You lose so much speed. You gain about 7 miles an hour in the draft at least. And when you lose that, that's how you lose it. Now the 69, Dale Smalley, is going to get shot out of line. Here comes the 39, 3 wide. They're not picking him up. 39 with help from the 51 on the high side, and that 69 car is going to drop back.
Like a rock, Cowboy. I tell you what, take it 3 wide up here with a single car in the middle. It doesn't work like the old style cars do. You really got to have a dancing partner here to make it work. But Dale Smalley goes backwards, still in a top 5 position. Or actually, let's take him back to a top 10 position, 9th position here being scored. Of course, I got to remember there's only one scoring line here at Daytona, so I got to keep that in mind too, Cowboy. It's been a long time since I've been up here in the booth. But in the meantime, 24 laps in the books here as we roll this thing. The 5 car up here. Let's take a look at the 5 car. That's going to be Joshua Hayner up here trying to hook it up and put something together. He's got the 39 in behind him here. As the laps start winding down, Evan, it becomes more and more important to stay hooked up with the dancing partner and take it right to the end.
And that's right, and you see 42 and 24 have been together pretty much the majority, the second half of this race, but they're single file. And the bad thing about that high side is, most likely, if it gets down to the end and you need to separate into a drafting partner, the 39 is going to hook up with the 5, which leaves that 51 all by himself, and an odd number means an odd one out here. So unless they do not stay single file, now the 51 is dropping in line, so that's going to work for him. Made it close there with the 13. But now that high side, they have less cars. They're going to lose the speed, and here comes the inside. It's going to power on by them. And as you mentioned, that number 69, Dale Smalley, dropping back to 10th.
Contact between the 5 and the 51 car up here as they cross the start-finish line. But I'll tell you what, now is when it starts to get real dicey here, the downhill side of things here at Daytona. So we'll be watching for that. In the meantime, the race is happening up here in the front as the 15 car Josh Ball up on the outside lets the leaders go past him here, 3 wide, as he's a little bit off the pace here. Going to try to catch the draft coming down the backstretch here. But I'll tell you what, for right now, the 24 machine and Victor Bartlett, that's going to be Andrew Berger and Victor Bartlett up here trying to hang on to what they got. In the meantime, Rodney Wolford and Terrence Donovan enter the picture as well. So I'll tell you what, this may be a terrific finish if we can make it all the way to the end. 3 more laps.
And it's going to be the 7 this time by. He's going to lead that lap in 73. Terrence Donovan is second across the stripe. You see, they're going to stack up. 73 almost gets loose on the bumper of the 51, and there goes the inside line again. It's easy to get hooked up, but the question is, who can stay hooked up longer? And obviously, these are not those COTs. These are curved front ends of the race cars, not a flat thing. They're real hard to push, and one of the things that you're going to be watching is who can stay hooked up the longest. Now they're going to group back up. We have 4 cars working that outside, 5 cars working the inside, and 2 tandems behind them as we cross the stripe to take lap 28. 3 laps to go.
3 to go here at Daytona, and I'll tell you what, it's shaping up to look like one of those classic finishes we like to see on TV all the time. And you're watching live ETV Live, Cowboy, every Friday night with the SuperSpeedway Cup Series. ssseries.com. You got to go there, hook up with Rod Flag. Hey, tell them the Cowboy sent you over there as we watch the leaders come down the backstretch. Got a little bit of trouble right ahead. That's going to be an obstacle. Slower car going to stay up there on the high side as they come around here. But Rodney Wolford, Andrew Berger, Terrence Donovan, Victor Bartlett, and the 51, Jason Oltmans, who's been dicing, slicing, trying to find a buddy up here. He's sticking with the action up here as well. And then right behind him, the 39, the 13 machine on the bottom here too. So I'll tell you what, this is shaping up to be one of those finishes that you don't want to miss.
And we want to avoid all that lap traffic because I got a feeling it's going to be 3 wide pretty soon here. It's down to crunch time. 2 laps to go. We're going to work our way through turns 1 and 2. We're now working down that Daytona super stretch. It's the 42 car being pushed by the 24. That high side, the 7 and the 73 of Rodney Wofford, Terrence Donovan, they have become separated. Can they get hooked back up in time? Big wiggle, 5 up into the 7, and a huge wreck behind them. 23 in it, 13 in it. That's going to take out all the cars behind 4th place. The 13 involved in an incident. 73 came up, but it doesn't matter. Here come your leaders. The 42 is going to come and take the white flag.
And no caution will fly. In fact, they sent the flagman home, so there are no cautions, Cowboys. So this is a race all the way to the finish line. Rodney Wofford back here in the 7 machine. He got the 5 right in front. That's Joshua Hammer. But I'll tell you what, the 24 car and Victor Bartlett in that 42 machine, they've been the class of the field all night here tonight, pretty much from the get-go. Here at Daytona. So coming through the turn for the last time here, it's all about the 42 and 24. Is the 24 going to try to take him up on the outside here and get to the start-finish line? Watch that move coming off the turn through the tri-oval. Nope, it's not going to happen, Cowboys. The 5 and they're wrecking up in front again. The 42 car and the 24 go across the start-finish line. Victor Bartlett and Andrew Berger are going to be scored your winners here. Victor Bartlett in that 42 machine crosses first. And then in 8,000ths of a second, right behind the 24 car, again, spinning across the start-finish line, Evan. What a finish here at Daytona.
A classic one it was indeed. You saw the 42 had about a car length between him and that double yellow line as they worked their way. And as they were approaching the tri-oval, that 24 tried to step out to get that slingshot to get the win. And right then, the 5 and the 7 were getting a huge shove, and he had nowhere to go. He had to jump back in line behind the 42. And then the 7 car tried to go 3 wide as the 24 and 5 moved closer together simultaneously to get the side draft. 7 hooked their 5 in the left rear bumper, turned down into the 24. 24 came up, just missed the 42, manages to save it. But Victor Bartlett, who finished 12th last season, he's currently sitting number 1 in points because he took home our first checkered flag of the season. He is your winner by 0.08 of a second.
I'll tell you what, I don't think there is a rule in the rule book that says you got to cross the start-finish line with the front bumper first, Cowboy. But I'll tell you what, the 24 machine getting almost completely sideways across the start-finish line here at Daytona Speedway for 2nd place. But Victor Bartlett, the night ball.
You can't push somebody that's pushing somebody else. That's what happened there.
Cup Series here every Friday night live on ETV Live. You don't want to miss this stuff. Corn Dogs and Corona Night, Cowboy, right here live on ETV Live and ETV Live Radio. So I tell you what, I think we've caught up with Victor Bartlett on the radio. Victor, this is JD and Evan up here in the booth. Congratulations on the win tonight, bud.
Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty exciting to win the first race of the season. I want to thank Rod for this amazing race. It was a lot of fun tonight. A lot of moves, a lot of strategy. I knew how to play it smart. I didn't know if I was going to actually be able to make it to the end because I was trying to push Andrew and my oil was blinking and I'd have to back off and push him and back off and push him. But as soon as I seen the outside line open up, I knew I had to jump up there and just take it and get Rodney to push me in front of Andrew, and then Andrew did the rest of it. So it all goes to Andrew too.
Well, I'll tell you what, you two look like pretty good dancing partners right there from the start of the music. And was that the plan for the night here at the on the aim?
Actually, I didn't even talk to Andrew. I worked with Andrew a little bit in the previous race, and then I knew if I could get in front of him and work with him. I've worked with him in the past, and I knew if I could continue to do it tonight, I knew we could be up there. He's very, very good.
All right, and I'll tell you what a race here at Daytona. Who made it happen for you there?
Rod in the SuperSpeedway Cup and K&N.
All right. I'll tell you what, looking forward to this every Friday night. Of course, I'll fill in the shoes for Dakota Ehrman, who's off tonight. But I was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it up here watching these guys. Let's throw it on down to Evan Pasoko. I believe Evan's caught up with Andrew Burke.
We're actually down here with the number 5 car. We are here down with your defending champion, the 24, Andrew Berger. And Andrew, we've seen you sideways across the line twice tonight. One time it was for the checkered flag. This time it was for second. How was that last race being 30 laps? What was the difference between it and the shorter races?
Oh, the longer races, you got to be patient. Just try to keep your engine cool there. Just try to stay out of trouble is the main gist of it. Victor and I were working well there throughout that race. I was pushing him there for the first half of the race, and I don't know, these cars just seem to get hotter than the ones we were running last year. So it was a little difficult there to keep my engine cool. The gauges were flashing, and I was starting to get worried I was going to blow up, but it all worked out in the end there, and I was happy to push Victor to the victory.
And definitely in a good points night out for you. Definitely a good way to start your quest for your 3rd championship in this series. And it looked like you were going to try to go for the slingshot there, but there was just another car there, and then you ended up sideways across the line. Describe to us that last few laps and then the finish.
Yeah, Victor made a very, very nice move there on, I think, 2 to go. To take the lead there and pull down in front of me, so I figured my engine was cool at that point, and I could just push him to the end there. I was thinking about making a move to the outside, and I think Josh was on the outside of me, and I know Rodney was around me as well. It just didn't work out to make my move to the outside, and I figured I'd just push another Chevy Jeff Gordon fan to the victory.
And definitely, and after race 1 of 10, you have to be thinking points, and a great way to start things out. And Victor mentioned you guys didn't really necessarily discuss bump drafting. Is that the mentality when it comes to this Super Speedway only series, especially with no cautions? What goes through the driver's mind when you're trying to find who you want to work with?
Yeah, I don't really make any pacts with anybody before the race. I just usually hook up with whoever's around me, whoever wants to hook up with me during the race. Victor and I just kind of always work well together, and he was just happened to be, I think, behind me to start, and it worked out. He got up in front of me, and I just pushed him for the first half of the race, and then in the end it cycled through where we were together again, and I helped him to get the victory.
Well, a top 3, and hopefully the first of many for your number 24 team. Who makes it happen for you guys?
Oh, I got to thank Rod Flagg for putting on this great league. It's always fun Friday nights here at the SuperSpeedway Cup. SSSeries.com. Check us out if you haven't already. Got to thank you guys at ETV Live and HD Radio Network for broadcasting us. You always do a great job. Thank you to Victor once again, just helping me and working with me tonight, and Frank for working with me in the heat race. Glad to see him get a victory. And I just got to thank Driver and Hungry Chevrolet. It was a good night for us.
And definitely a great night, the number 24. Starting off this season, right, you're going to take home a top 2 finish, and I do believe JD is now caught up with our 3rd place finisher.
You bet. I'll tell you what, Josh Hainer finishing in 3rd place here tonight in that 5 machine, looking on the outside, coming to the start-finish line. Tell us about that last lap there, Josh.
Well, the wreck happened behind us there in turn 3, coming to the white flag. When I saw Rodney behind us, I knew we could make a run at it, and we spent that whole lap just trying to build up some momentum, and we finally got it coming out of 4. I got up beside the 24, and I thought I had it, and then I'm not really sure what happened. I think either I went down or the 24 came up, and we just came across sideways. It's a crazy finish, but man, that was a good race.
Crazy finish. That crazy finish has been happening all night here, but hey, it's Friday night, Cowboy, at Daytona. What do you expect? But I'll tell you, a 30-lap heat race, or a 30-lap A-main. Of course, the heat races, only 10 laps, 12-lap dash for cash. Do you come to these kind of races with a different mindset than you would to a 80 or 100-lap race, which you typically find in a league series?
Oh, you definitely have to. You got to be a little more aggressive in these shorter races, especially those 10, 12 lap heats before the A main. You can't go out there and just be aggressive the whole time. You burn yourself out. You got to try to save the car for the end and keep it cool. But also, you need to stay up towards the front. If you get too far in the middle, you might get yourself in trouble.
Now, I've heard tell coming off of turn 4 that a lot of drivers just hang on to the steering wheel and close their eyes and hope for the best. Is that what you did?
Well, the eyes were wide open. I was holding on to the steering wheel. It was white knuckle all the way. I was seeing the checkered flag, man. I thought I had it, but I'm excited for Victor. That was a great run.
Well, I'll tell you what, you just described my last ride on my old saddle pony, white knuckle. Of course, me being 60 years old, my horse only being 4, that's another story, cowboy. But I'll tell you what, who made it out for you tonight, John?
Well, I got to thank Rod, of course, for putting on the league. I got to thank you guys for broadcasting us. It's really a blast. And I would thank my sponsor, IT Pioneers. And I hope to keep running up front all season long.
You bet. Keep running up front all season long. I tell you what, cowboy, that's the way it is here on Friday nights with the SuperSpeedway Cup Series. And I'll tell you what, I was filling some big shoes here tonight, and I'm plumb wore out. Having Dakota on vacation, quite a bit of work for me tonight here, guys. But I'll tell you what, I had a blast up here. Evan Pasoko alongside us up here. Of course, Clint Monahan just joining the group. Evan, last thoughts?
Well, definitely SuperSpeedway Cup, one of my favorite races to broadcast because we're not just doing one race. We got to see 4 great races tonight, and not one of them was a sleeper. We didn't have one decided winner. It all came down to that last lap. Definitely a great night of racing, a great way to kick off this season. I look forward to hopefully being able to make it for the majority of the next 9 races as we work our way through and crown our next champion.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, we ain't done yet, cowboy. There's a whole lot more racing coming your way. Tomorrow night, Integrity Racing on Channel 2. Sunday night, the CORA, Championship Online Racing Association. They're on at 8 o'clock p.m. on Sunday nights on Channel 2. Of course, we'll take you right to Monday with the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series on Channel 1. So a whole lot more racing coming your way. Also, the Team Series racing on Channel 1 on Sunday nights at 8:30 p.m. as well. So just tons of racing happening here on ETV Live. Hey, I want to thank Evan Pasoko for joining me up here. And Clint, let's have a couple of last words here, bud.
I had a great time joining y'all tonight. We had fantastic racing tonight from this series. I look forward to watching more of it and hopefully being a part of it again. Thank you so much again for having me.
All right, Clint Monahan just joining the team. Of course, John Wessling, magic fingers, pushing the buttons down there in the hauler. And I'll tell you what, cowboy, there is no better than John Wessling down there on those camera buttons. So for ETV Live, Evan Pasoko, John and Clint and all the boys here at SuperSpeedway Cup Series on Friday nights, we're going to call it a night, and we'll see you next time on ETV Live.